Don't just pop up on me. Don't just pop up in my house because I will play like I know. You ever see how people is do Jehovah's Witness? If you worry about your problem and I worry about your problem, how that solving anything? If me and you worrying about the problem, what exactly is that solving? Welcome back to the Way of Growth podcast with me, your host, Juliet Newchurch. This podcast is all about personal development, advancement, and growth. If you're someone that's looking to become the best version of yourself and you're currently on your personal development journey, or if you're someone you're trying to find out how to start your personal development journey, well, this is the podcast to be. As I continue on my personal development journey, I also want to help others to see that it is possible to change their mindset, and it is also possible to become the best version of themselves. So in today's topic, we're going to be discussing setting healthy boundaries. A lot of people don't have boundaries. And I was one of those persons about 5 or 6 years ago who didn't have any boundaries. People feel like they could have talked to me any kind of way. People feel like they could have treated me any kind of way. But today, in today's topic, we're going to be discussing how to set boundaries. We're also going to be discussing some unhealthy and some healthy boundaries. And I'm also going to share some of my personal experiences of setting boundaries and how people responded to it. Boundaries are just openly and respectfully expressing your feelings to the people in your life. You want to express it to them, but not in a harsh way. And I know sometimes, even regardless if you express it in a calm way, some people still take offense to it, but that's okay. Once you know that you did your part, we're going to discuss 3 types of boundaries. There are actually 7, but today we're only going to discuss 3. The first one is time boundaries. I don't know about y'all, but my time, every hour, every minute down to the second in my day is important. This is why I stress so much on this podcast that plan your day or somebody else will plan it for you. If you do not plan your day, somebody will plan it for you. Even if you had plans to sleep, that is a plan. Time is so important. We only have 24 hours in a day. And if you work a job, 8 hours is already gone from your job alone. So imagine just having 16 hours for yourself. 8 hours to sleep. And the rest 10 hours just to spend time with your kids and to work on you. So if you are having a problem with people who waste your time, if you're having a problem with people who try to schedule things on your time without your consent, you need to set a time boundary. The second boundary that we're going to discuss is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Most of the times, people use non-negotiable boundaries in relationships. Let's just say, for example, you're a person that you don't condone cheating. So if you've already communicated to your partner, hey, if you cheat and I find out that you cheat, I'm leaving. That's a non-negotiable. You already communicated that boundary to them. So if they cross that boundary, then they don't really care or love you because they know that was a non-negotiable. And when I say that it's a non-negotiable, meaning that you can't negotiate nothing. If the person cheated, walk away. That was grounds for leaving. That was grounds for not speaking to you anymore. And that's something you already told them. So physical boundaries is the third one. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like any and everybody in my home. I'm a very spiritual person, so I feel like not every and anybody should be in your house. I feel like your home is your sanctuary because that's where you lay your head. If you let any and everybody inside of your home each and every day, people bring spirits with them, People really be carrying spirits on them. So let's just say, people just showing up by you unannounced. You letting them inside your home. Those spirits that they carrying on you, they end up leaving right in your house. Then you wonder why when you go sleep, you can't sleep, comfortable. You wonder why, you so antsy at nighttime when time to rest your head. Your house doesn't feel peaceful, so much confusion. Those same people that you keep letting in your house, leaving the same spirits that were attached to them inside of your home. So you have to set a boundary. Don't just pop up on me. Don't just pop up in my house because I will play like I know. You ever see how people is do Jehovah's Witness? When Jehovah's Witness come to your door, you don't answer, like nobody home. You turn off all the TV. I will leave you outside waiting. Don't never pop up on me at my home unannounced. And if you're having a problem with that, you need to communicate with that person that, hey, I need time for myself. You can't just pop up on me. If you're going to come by me, call in advance to say, see if I'm home. And even better yet, if you're home, you could still tell them, hey, I'm resting, so I won't be able to see you today. We are going to discuss some healthy and unhealthy boundaries. We're going to start with unhealthy boundaries. First one is not being able to tell people no. I had this issue before. Listen to me. When you're unable to tell people no, that drains you. Especially if it's something that you didn't want to do. A lot of times people who are afraid to tell others no are normally people pleasers, and they fear judgment from those people who would probably say, well, she could at least do this. No. That's a very unhealthy boundary, that you're afraid to tell people no. Next one is taking on other people's problems. Recently this week, I listened to Sarah Jake's sermon that said, the name of the sermon was Locked In. So she was just discussing how when people bring their problems to you, you shouldn't take it on. When you go in prayer and that person tell you your problems, you carry that in prayer to God and you leave that in his hands. Do not take on other people's problems. Because if you worry about your problem and I worry about your problem, how that's solving anything? If me and you worrying about the problem, what exactly is that solving? And then another thing is, if people come to you with their problems, you can give them a solution. Most of the times, some people ain't really looking for solutions. They just looking for someone to listen to them babble on. And if you're that person who, wants to be a listening ear for them, then that's fine. But don't allow it to be, don't take on that problem. Because then you're going to be drained and you're going to be worrying just like them. Thirdly, the third unhealthy boundary is you compromise your values and beliefs in order to please people. And this also goes back to number one, not being able to tell people no. Don't compromise nothing for nobody. Don't compromise nothing for nobody. If that's your values, that's your beliefs, stand on it. Stand on it, don't waver. Because when people see you shaky, when they see you wavering, they take advantage of you. And they'll always keep coming back to you. Because they know that, hey, this person, they don't stand on they don't stand their ground. So now we're going to get into the healthy boundaries. You can say no. This is the first one. You can say no without feeling guilty, and you are okay when others say no to you. I want you to get that last part. I want you to get the last part. Because a lot of people, they are okay with saying no to people, but they're not okay when someone says no to them. You have to respect people's boundaries. Just like you want them to respect your boundaries, you have to respect others' boundaries. The second one is you are responsible for your own happiness. Nobody else is responsible for you being happy. If you are not happy, then you need to find out what's the problem, what's the cause of you being unhappy. What is causing you to feel that way? Your significant other is not responsible for your happiness. Your mom is not responsible for your happiness. If you are not happy, you need to go to the source, go to the creator, go to God. Because it will be him who would help you to try to find out why are you not happy. But nobody else is responsible for making sure that you're happy. That's not the issue. I don't want to say it, so cold, but that's not nobody's issue. You are responsible for your own happiness. So the third healthy boundary is you do not tolerate disrespect or abuse. Boy, I can tell you one thing. Marvel's daughter, yeah. You don't get disrespect us. You're not going to. You have to stand your ground with people. Even if you do it in a calm way, because people feel like when people feel like they can disrespect you, they will say anything to you. And when they see that you don't tolerate disrespect, trust me, they won't try you again. And another thing with abuse, a lot of people, most of the times, they combine abuse with just physical abuse. No, you have mental abuse, emotional abuse, and a lot of times people would try to trigger you with something that would end up triggering you emotionally. Don't accept it. You could hang up that phone call. You could say, hey, kind of dark right now. You could hang up that phone. You don't have to accept no kind of disrespect or no kind of abuse from anybody. And if you're going through that right now, we're soon going to get into how to set healthy boundaries. But let me just give you all this one time of how, my mommy, she liked to, volunteer. your services. And I love my mommy, but I had to tell her in a really nice way, mommy, my time is always important. If you want something to do for me, let me know in advance. Or if it's something that pop up on the day of whatever I have planned, if it's my mom, I'll squeeze her in because that's my mommy. But just throw something on me, I have to tell her. And especially if it ain't for, I have to tell her, yeah, mommy, please don't do that. Please do not do that. I respect my time. I value my time. And I thought my day schedule out to the T. So don't try throw nothing on me what somebody else gotta do. Sad to say, that's their issue to do. That's their problem to deal with. And most of the times when you do extend a hand to people who you mess up your plans for the day for, most of the times they won't even do that for you. They won't even do that for you. And another time I remember, I know somebody who they just don't know how to tell people no. And I still praying for them. And I pray that one day they be able to voice their opinions and tell people no. But people will ask them to do something and they'll go their way to do it. But when it's the other way around, the person never show the same thing towards them. And I just keep praying for them, praying that one day God will help them to see that, people tend to use you when you don't know how to say no to them. So now we are going to get in how to set healthy boundaries. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to know what the boundary is. What exactly do you need to set a boundary with? Who do you need to set the boundary with? Find out what it is. Get clear on it so that you could communicate it and communicate and be straight up. That's the second thing. Be straight up and remain calm. You could remain calm and tell people what you don't like, and say, hey, I don't like this. It hurts me. I don't like this because it takes up my time and I actually had something planned out. I don't like this. This is a non-negotiable. You could communicate that to your partner, like I said before. And you can communicate things calmly to people. I think it's human nature for people to take offense when you don't want to do anything no more that they wanted you to do. I know it's a saying that says, once you have a donkey, you will ride it. If people know that you constantly, bend to them and do whatever they ask you to do, they will ride you until you drain and tired and you're just sick of people. So before that even gets to that point, communicate it. Just let people know. I don't understand. Why are you so afraid to let people know that you have a boundary? Is it something, are you afraid that people are going to walk away from you? Are you afraid of judgment? Because regardless, if you communicate a boundary to somebody and they walk away, then they just weren't supposed to be in your life. That's all. So the third thing is, I already said that, accept the fact that some people are going to be upset or disturbed by you setting the boundary. They could be disturbed, they could be upset. That ain't your problem. This is the fourth thing. Do not feel guilty or have any remorse for doing it. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel guilty when people get upset or they disturb because you set a boundary. You don't have to feel guilty. That is not your issue. That's not your issue. And I know many people may be thinking that I am coming off a bit cold, but no. Until you've been placed in a position where people constantly run over you, you would understand, hey, this is why this person needed to set boundaries. This is why this person, doesn't, care that much how people feel when they set boundaries. Because it's not your job to worry about how they feel. You are setting boundaries to protect you. You're protecting you. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I also want you to remember that setting boundaries is very important. It's very important, especially as we get older, in our adult years. It's very important, especially for your peace of mind. All you have is your peace. I want you to know that. Peace is so important. I don't know about you guys, but I know peace for me is very important. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Also comment down below and share some of your experience that you face with setting boundaries with people. Also guys, we are on Spotify. If you didn't know, you know it now. Don't forget to look in the description box and click the link and subscribe to our Spotify to listen to the audio. If you're unable to tune into YouTube. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching the Way of Grow podcast.